So Robin is going to present today. Robin has been a member for the group for a while now. Robin, take it away. We're actually running a little low on time, so maybe we'll just skip Robin.
You know, we always like to start off with a laugh with Robin. So thanks for that introduction, Dan. But something you guys probably don't know about me is back in 1985, I actually graduated as an engineer, and that was back when maybe 7% of the engineers are women. Just a side note, 2018, only 14.5 of the engineers are women. So I mean, it was a different field, and I worked in McDonnell Douglas. If you are old enough to know what McDonnell Douglas was, that was working with airplanes. And so why I'm saying that is I had kind of a technical background, and obviously like the analytical part. And so the reason I looked at JuicePlus is because they had research. And back then, 15 years ago, they had 15 studies. And yes, I did look at all the studies, and yes, I was impressed. And so this was, and let's see, woo. And here, I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I do have a handout if you're interested that kind of reviews a summary of some of the research that's done. But if you can see, JuicePlus has been shown that it helps with cardiovascular wellness. It improves your gums and the gum tissue, bleeding of the teeth, reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, which is one of the keys to most of our problems. And yeah, so you can ask me more if you want to see some of that. But what I want to point out, though, is that JuicePlus, it's a whole food, you guys. It's not a vitamin. And what's the difference? So if you take a look at this apple, that's only, you can't see any of that, but that's only 1/4. I guess I would point it. That's 1/4 of what's really in an apple. Does anybody know how many plant nutrients, they're called phytonutrients, are in produce, like an apple or an orange? Anyone know? Anywhere from 10 to over 20,000. Holy cow, how are you going to take a vitamin right here and find 8 or 10 or 20 or whatever and put it in your multivitamin? Because they all work synergistically together, like that in nature. So, just saying. But what we now know, unfortunately, it's very sad, that our produce is anywhere from 5 to 40% less nutrient packed, and that's since 1950. That's less nutrition. Even though you're buying organic, you're getting from Whole Foods or something, that stuff was picked, oh goodness, a week. Maybe the apples from New Zealand were picked a month ago, and as soon as you pick something, it starts losing nutrition. It's the last 5 days of ripening on the plant when you get the most nutrition. And so that's why we went from, in 2005, it was 5 a day or something like that, and we're now 7 to 13 servings a day. Do you know what a serving is?
A handful?
Yes, it's the size of your fist, the size of your... How many of you actually get 7 to 13? 7's for the younger kids, it's really 9 to 13 for people our age. Just saying. And so...
My fist is bigger than yours.
Well, you need more then. You need more. So what I'm saying is that, you know, with JuicePlus, I want to make this real for you. I'm not going to tell you more facts and figures or anything. I want to make this so that you understand this for you and your family. And what I mean is, like, if you give a referral to me, it's not just for me and my business. It's something for, like, one of those people that you're referring. You never know what JuicePlus could perhaps do to somebody. It could be something surprising and profound that happens to them. Or it could just be they don't get sick for the year. You know, and that's pretty big for me. And I know some of you that might have to take off work or have caregivers for your children if you're whatever. Anyway, so this is an example of that. This is my girlfriend. She was an Olympian, so granted, she's in good shape, right? She doesn't need a whole lot. After 2 years, she noticed she didn't have exercise and did asthma. That was big for her. It wasn't a big deal. And her husband, he worked for the Forest Service. He fights fires. Not a hard job, huh? But for the last 9 years of his work before he retired, he got sick once. 9 years, he got sick once. It was a forest fire. And this is my good friend Lindsay. Oh, you can't really see this. But anyway, okay, so she was a personal trainer for 15 years. Stellar nutrition. She didn't think she needed it, but she had a firefighter for her husband. They eat like not so good in Firehouse. So that is why she started JuicePlus, for her husband. So 1 month later, she got pregnant. I didn't tell you, she had had 3 miscarriages before that. In 1 month she got pregnant. And then 4 months later, oh my gosh, her complexion was amazing. I didn't tell you. Every single month she had a chemical peel on her face for her acne, adult acne. But she didn't need this nutrition. And then my dear friend Lacey. Okay, Lacey is sweetest person. She was a piano teacher for my son, but she was constantly sick, 8 to 10 times a year. I told her about this for 8 years before she actually heard me. But anyway, she was sick that much and she was constipated. She had, her hair fell out in clumps, her nails and her hair were, her nails were brittle. She was on antidepressant and anxiety medications. And that's what she thought was the way of life. Flash forward, she's now flooding her body with over 45 plants every day, rocking immune system. She poops like a champ. She has strong nails.
I thought I was reading that wrong.
Yeah, I did that. Strong nails and hair. And you know what that does? Your strong nails and your hair are actually showing that you have good organ function too. These are all different outward signs of what's going on inwards. But anyway, so she got off her medication. She's the healthiest she's been, and she's grateful. This is another girl, and all you guys, I could almost cry when I saw her. Okay, imagine this. She's interviewing me to be in her gym, okay? And she's asking me all these questions, and she's like, you sleep well? You're not constipated? You have full of energy? What do you do? And so, yeah, Dan, I know you can't see this, but I started interviewing her. So I say, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? This is not for you. And so she was telling me that at age 18, now she's in her early 30s, at age 18, she was diagnosed with a genetic mental illness and put on some really heavy meds. They said, this is your life destiny. You will do these meds for the rest of your life. And this is in her early 30s. And so she has got stomach pains, which was later diagnosed as IBS, and she is constipated, and anyway, so I just gave her a week's worth. And in 1 week, she called me, and she was so excited, because guess what, Dan?
She was
pooping. Oh my God. She's like, I am sold. And so she got on this, and honestly, it took a good 2 years for her to wean off. But she's off her meds, and that is huge. She's now has more clarity of mind, and she just has more joy. It's just, and anyway, it's just good. You've been on medication. This is a little baby you can see on the top. It has really bad eczema. It's a brand new baby. The mother was like, "Whoa, I guess if I take the JuicePlus, I'll get it through my breast milk." 4 months to the date, you can't see it that clearly, but clear skin. The baby did not have eczema. And this is a girl that had alopecia, where your hair is coming out. After 16 weeks, she was only on the fruit, vegetable, and berry capsules, but pretty good results. And this is a girl that, she's probably been taking the JuicePlus since she's been 7. She was a 2-sport athlete in college, and just D1 and just really good. But she, a year and a half ago, we came out with plant-based omegas, and it's omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. It's complete omega. And she started taking it. This picture's kind of hard to tell, but this was August 4th, a year and a half ago, and then after that, this is January 4th. So 6 months later, I don't know. It's something not just healthy inside, but it's showing what happened outside. So you're probably saying, what is in this stuff? I mean, these magic pills, right? It's just food. It's food, and I don't really even know what a bilberry is. I know they're really good for us. I got a pointer. But I get it every single day. And lemon peel. How many of us eat lemon peel? I do put that in my smoothie, but not every day. And you just have, mangoes and dates. You have this stuff every single day. And it's not something that is going to make you walk on water. You're not going to feel it in a week, 2 weeks, a month. It's a good 4 months to change out, your red blood cells. And so it takes time. And I'm open for questions. Did you see that?
Very good. We have a couple minutes for questions. Let's take it away.
Yes?
So can you tell me why I would take one over the other?
You know what? eating a whole variety of color of things. I mean, most of us, if we think about it, what fruit do we eat? We eat a banana, we eat an apple, orange. But every single fruit and every single color does a little bit something different for you. I take the fruit, vegetable, berry, and I take the omegas. I mean, you get a little bit of something from everything else. And I don't know if I have time to tell you this, but there was a report that went out where they took people to the fast food place, McDonald's, and they gave them a really high-fat meal. And then they brought them to a laboratory and they tested their brachial artery. The brachial artery is, you know, it's one of your main arteries in your arm. And anyway, there was a constriction there of 40 to 50%. When you do a high-fat meal, Christmas, Thanksgiving, this is when we have a lot of people going to the hospital. So anyway, so they gave a third of the people fruit and vegetable, they gave a third of the people placebo, and a third of the people fruit, vegetable, and berry. Flash forward, high-fat meal again, after 3 weeks, go back, take your measurements of your constriction of your brachial artery. Placebo is still 40-50% constriction. Fruit and vegetables probably now like 18, 15, and it's probably 10 for the fruit, vegetable, and berry. 1 week later, don't even take your capsules. Go and have your high-fat meal, get tested again, and you have placebo, still 40-50% constriction. Fruit and vegetables now probably like 8 or 9 constriction. The fruit, vegetable, and berry, 3 to 5%. It's like you didn't even have the high-fat meal. Doesn't mean take all 3 and go eat fast food or I'll be really mad at you. But it does mean that it's actually doing something for you cardiovascular. So that's what made me say, yeah, I'm doing all 3.
So we have time for one more question. Jim, Diana, you guys want to
You can
explain?
ask a question, I just want to make a statement.
Okay.
Probably the same, but I just want to commend Robin for her patience and endurance in getting me on the product. And what I can tell you is that I haven't had a single respiratory illness now since I've been on it, although my wife, who is significantly younger than I, has suffered 3 cold kind of things after visits from our 5-year-old grandson this year. So hopefully we'll get her started on it too.
And pooping like a champ.
Diana?
Would you really? I can send you the video, Dan.
Okay, that's to be edited out of the video. Go
I
ahead.
just want to make a quick statement. If any of you have done supplements, swallowing big herbal pills, they suck. These come in gummy format. So
Yeah.
I'm taking gummies every day.
What's the price point?
My kids took the red and green, so I only have the purple on display.
$500 a week.
We got all.
And I've been doing JuicePlus for 4 months, and I love the kid program, how your kid gets free.
You
And
get free
my-
product for up to 4 years for the children, yes.
Yeah, even if they're in college, so my stepson's on it,
Yeah.
7 months on it. But my 7-year-old her colds are like 2 days now, like she kicks them so much faster. And we do lots of other things, so it's awesome.
It's amazing, and our company is even, if there is somebody we had a person that was 30 years old, but he had the mentality of maybe an 8-year-old or something, you know, he was handicapped, and the company said, sure, we can put him on the Children's Health Study. So they're the company with the
All right, Robin, thank you very much.